Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Getting back to work on the Cobra in this video. Last video we left off, got the fuel system wrapped up, all the wiring done, and all the plumbing in place, and I was starting to work with the cooling system. I'd ordered some parts to try and fix some issues I came up with, and those parts just arrived, so I am going to get to work and start trying to put this thing together. Alright, so here is the first part that I received that I wanted to show you. This is the radiator cap I had ordered. As you can see, it looks perfect on there. It is the correct part from multiple searches I did online looking for what radiator cap people who have the FE engines using this tank tend to use. This is a 13-pound cap. Here's the packaging. It is the RS62 cap, and then there's the Ford part number as well. I think it was like $5 on Amazon, $6, something like that. So, but that is the correct radiator cap, perfect fit. Looks great on there, so looking forward to getting this installed with that on there. So let me grab the next part. All right, and then here is part number 2. This is the Stant thermostat that I ordered. It's the part number. It's a 180-degree thermostat. It's their super stat for optimal engine performance. But if you remember the Motorrad thermostat I had, it had an extra raised edge. It would not fit into this hole. This one fits perfectly where it's supposed to go in the groove. So the only problem is this one does not have a bleed hole like the factory or the Motorrad did up at the, where you would put it at the 12 o'clock to keep any air pockets from forming. So what I'm going to do is take a very small drill bit, drill a very small hole right above that ridge there, just so there is a small bleed, and then I can put that at the 12 o'clock position, then get everything installed, and that way it lessens the chance of having any air pockets get trapped. It'll just make getting the system bled out a lot easier. So and then you can see the numbers on there that this is a 180-degree thermostat. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this drilled real quick, and then I can go ahead and start getting things installed. All right, and there we go. 1 5/64 inch hole drilled right there. So yeah, I'll install it with the hole at the top. It's well below the flange, so it won't be blocked off, and that will allow air to escape when I'm bleeding and filling the system. I apologize, somebody's using a leaf blower out there. Perfect timing, of course. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get everything cleaned up, and then I can start getting this installed in the car. All right, well there we are. How good does that look? Everything's tightened, and you can see there's the 2 Allen cap head bolts down there. I did use a gasket, and I also used Great Stuff gray sealer on both sides of the gasket. So this should be good to go. There's really not an easy way to get like a socket on the lower one to try and torque it properly. So basically did the whole good and tight method using Allen key and then 1/4-inch extension with a socket to fit over it on the short end, and use that to kind of work as like a T-handle type of deal so I could get it tightened down. But pretty tight, so it should be good to go. Let it dry, and that is done. As you can see, there is barely space between there, but you can see daylight if you catch it at the right angle. So we're good as far as that goes, and having plenty of space between the distributor and the tank. So I'm gonna let that dry, and while it's drying, move on to the next. All right, so next area I was gonna look at on the car is the 2 heater lines. And you can see here, this is the valve that goes in the one line to turn the heat flow on and off, the water flow. This is original to the car, I'm guessing. I'd noticed previously that it seemed like it was seeping coolant out of the holes. So I'm guessing the diaphragms wore out. And then looking in there, you probably can't see, it is like significantly rusty on the shaft. I'm guessing this thing had just kind of water in it for a while of its life. But I'm guessing this valve's shot and it's leaking, and that, seeping through the seals internally, and that's why it's coming out in the diaphragm at the bottom, because this is vacuum operated. There's a vacuum port there. They're not that expensive. I'm gonna go ahead and order one of these so that way I can get a new one, fresh, hopefully not leaking, installed, and then go ahead and run the heater core lines. That one would go in the bottom hose there. That'll go in between there, and then I can run that hose to the water pump, and then The other hose will tie into that right there, spliced together, and I'll probably just use a couple of cushion clamps to just tie them together somewhere, in this area, just to bundle them up and make them look a little nicer. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that part ordered, and then that will be one more thing off the list, and then I can move on to the next project. All right, been a few days and parts have arrived. I've ordered. First one here, this is the Delco heater control valve to replace the corroded old one. They do look identical, so that is a good sign. I'm going to double check, make sure it is the right setup where it's vacuum, where it's the valve is open and closed in the right position, vacuum on or off. Based on how it's designed, I'm pretty sure it is, but I just want to double check. So I'm going to hook up a vacuum Mighty Vac to it, just make sure everything moves the way it's supposed to, and then I can go ahead and get this thing installed. All right, well, I am glad I tested this. I was wrong. This is not the right part. This AC Delco one, this one is open, as you can see through there, with no vacuum. It closes under vacuum. The one that came out of the car is currently closed, and then when you put vacuum on it, the valve opens up. So this is the opposite of what I need here. So I need to find one that matches what's in the car. So I'm going to do some searching online, see if I can find a new part number, correct part, and get that ordered. All right, so I did some searching online. I found this part number, but it's pretty old, and everything that had that part number listed was out of stock. I did find Vintage Air offers a vacuum heat control valve, but it doesn't say if it's normally closed, open with vacuum, or vice versa, which that is what I need. I need a normally closed, open with vacuum. So I did some searching. I found a Four Seasons part, searched on that, and then found it on Summit Racing. And then on Summit Racing, I found somebody who asked that same question and found a part number. So I've ordered a Four Seasons heat control valve. Looks just like this, vacuum port and everything in the same spot. I believe it was part number 74614, but I'll confirm that once I receive it. And based on everything I read, it is a normally closed, opens with vacuum, and that's what I need. So it is on order. Hopefully I'll have it in the next day or so. All right, so next thing I'm going to address is that coolant passage hole that you see there in the thermostat housing area. This catch can or expansion tank, whatever you want to call it, it came with a vacuum or a hose nipple on there for like if you were running the 5-liter setup where you would have the 90-degree hose that went from there directly to the water pump. I'm going to be running the water pump directly to the heater box there because I don't have the metal lines going over the top, and then the one port that you can see down there that's plugged is going to be for my gauge. So I actually need to remove that plug. But anyway, I have a plug that I'm going to get installed into that port. It's just a 3/8 NPT. I went online and ordered, they're basically just an Allen head basic plug, as you can see here. So I'm going to get some sealer on it, get it installed down there in the thermostat area, and that will be done. All right, and as you can see, the plug is in place down there with sealer. And then I also went ahead and pulled out the old plug from the intake manifold and installed the 1/2-inch NPT adapter that I need for my mechanical water temp gauge in its place. The old intake manifold off of the old what was on the engine before was a 3/8. I needed to change to the 1/2-inch, and thankfully the kit from Autometer with the mechanical gauge came with both adapters. So found this in the box I had laying around and got it installed. All right, next thing on my list while I am waiting for parts is I went ahead and got the smaller of the lines off the water pump ran. This is the 5/8 line, all brand new hose, and I connected, there was a 5/8 to 5/8 adapter in there because the remaining hose is a fitted piece that goes to the heater box on the firewall that's like specially molded and whatnot to get back there because fit is very tight behind the dash. So that's in. Also was thinking about it and realized that one of my problems with this may have been that the other hose that comes from the water pump, now granted with the 5-liter crossover pipes and stuff, this might have been mitigated, I don't remember. That's a 3/4, not a 5/8. So using 3/4 hose, it's really loose on that because that's a 5/8 fitting. And I know the new valve that I ordered is 5/8 and 5/8. So I went ahead and ordered a 3/4 to 5/8 neck down coupler as well, so I'll just put that in line similar in this area. I'll run a short 5/8 pipe to it and then do the coupler and then the 3/4 all the way down to the water pump down there. So the new valve and that adapter are on order, so I can't do anything with that hose until those parts come in. Again, they're due in tomorrow. All right, next thing I started looking at is the reference port for the vacuum signal to the fuel pressure regulator. I was looking at it, nothing in any of the instructions gives like, you know, what the sizes are, except for the two large ones on this throttle body. But then there's like, the one looks to be about 1/4, I'm thinking. And this one, I'm pretty sure is a 3/16 because I have some adapter fittings I used and was taking off the caps and just trying to put those on the adapter fittings. And yeah, this seems to be 3/16, which seems to match up with the size of that. So I just went ahead and ordered a length of 3/16 silicone vacuum hose. So that will be here tomorrow as well. So once I receive that, I can hopefully get the fuel pressure regulator line worked out as well, and that'll be one less thing on my to-do list. So slowly but surely getting through things on this engine. All right, next thing I just kind of want to go over. I had bought this kit from West Coast Cougars, I think it is. It's basically the proper spark plug wire holders. These two here go onto the tabs that are on the valve cover there. And it's supposed to just keep everything in order, and then it also comes with two that are just like remote holders as well. I made the mistake. These are made for up to an 8mm wire. These Ford Racing wires are 9mm. Not going to fit. Thankfully, in searching online, they do make these pairs, not these, but you can get a pair of these that are made for a 9mm wire. They're basically just advertises for a 79 to 95 Mustang, but it does have the proper clips where it'll hold it onto the old style valve cover mount like this has. So went ahead and ordered those. They're like $7 on Amazon, nothing too crazy. So those are on order as well, and hopefully that will help me in organizing my kind of crazy spark plug wires. All right, so with all of these parts on order and me being held up as far as the cooling system goes, yeah, especially the lower hose for the water pump that's ordered, that's on back order. I don't expect that for a few more weeks. The rest of the stuff I should have in the next, day or so. Like I said, it was all pretty much next day on Amazon. But yeah, I'm stuck there, and I really don't want to start a new project at this point in time because this video has gone on long enough. So I'm going to probably end it here. Preview things to come. I think the first thing I'm going to start working on is getting back in the interior because I do want to be able to get the dash in. I have the mileage on the speedometer, odometer, almost where it needs to be. It's been a long process of just, going through batteries on my drill, and I get about 55 miles at her battery. So almost there. I think I'm at about 1,800 miles. I need to get to 21 and some change to have it match the old odometer. So, but next video, I will probably start up with doing pedal modification. As you can see there, I have the two AC pedals with their little grommets. Currently, I have, well, you can't really see because the fuse box is hanging in the way, the old Ford pedals. So I need to pull both these pedals out, cut off the existing pedals, modify them to install the ACs. I'm also probably going to change the pivot point on the brake pedal since this does have manual brakes, and I don't think that was done by the previous owner. So that's something I need to do. This little bag here, it's hard to tell. Those are two LED lights that I'm going to mount on the cross beam there. So they'll be under the dash. They'll basically be floor lights for when the headlights are on. Also, one thing I do want to try and figure out while the dash is out is ducting for defrost. I do have the chrome bezels that go up on the dash here and there. Looking at it, it's probably going to be hard to get a duct on this side underneath the heater box, but I can probably at least run one on this side, which that's all that really matters for me anyway. I mean, not that I really need a defroster. I'm not going to be driving this, but at least it'll look correct and whatnot. So I may just put the little trim piece on that side and not actually have anything over there. or I may still cut a hole underneath it and have, be able to have air behind the dash blow up. I don't know. We'll figure it out at that point in time. But anyway, those are the things that are probably going to come in the next video. I also am probably going to have a couple videos in the near future taking a break from the Cobra. I'd like to do a end of season video on the MR2 now that it's been 6-7 months with the 2GR V6 swap, and I've probably got 500 or 600 miles on it since then, taking it to a bunch of shows. So just like to kind of crawl under the car, check, look for leaks, anything else, see how it's running. Also probably going to do a video on 3-year ownership of my Gladiator, because those are a vehicle that is kind of out there and people love them, but there's also some issues with them. So just gonna put together a little overview of my thoughts on it after having it for 3 years. So that being said, I am gonna call this a video here. If you like what you're seeing, please hit like, please hit subscribe, please hit the notification bell. Do appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. I do review them and I will reply. That being said, thank you for watching and have a great day.